Welcome back this week to Checkered Flag on C7 Sport. Well, we've already seen Jeff Judd race to victory in the opening round of the Autopro Super Sprint Series. We now welcome you to Geelong's Avalon International Raceway for our exclusive coverage of round 2. Big field of cars on hand here tonight. Very good crowd. Slightly overcast conditions, but predominantly fine. And we are going to show you on the remainder of today's program every single race to determine round 2 of this championship. 6 heats, the Dash, the B main and the A main. Here's the grid for the opening qualifying heat. It's Judd, Vogels, David Brown, McCubbin, Warren, Chippendall, Thomsen, Smith, Nelson in this first heat. Doosier Tyres, the sponsor. And Judd, well, he has been very much the form driver, Dennis Newland. We said that. We saw that at Nyora. Will it be the same here in round 2?
Well, we'll soon find out, but yes, Jeff Judd really put it all together there. A beautiful performance at the Nyora Raceway. Top man on the point score table at the moment after the opening round, so we'll see what he can do here tonight at Geelong's Avalon Raceway.
You can see, pretty good crowd, particularly at the southern end of the venue. This racetrack has been here for well over 2 decades, owned and operated by the Drew family, who also have a huge plumbing business in this city of Geelong. And Jeff Judd best to begin in Heat 1 of qualifiers here, round 2 of the Auto Pro Series. Good field of cars. Jeremy Warren involved in this opening qualifying heat. The West Australian, he's back running about 5th at the moment. One of the big runners to look forward to watching in action here is Tim McCubbin, one of the standout Victorian drivers in sprint car racing. He is behind the wheel of car number 13, and I can tell you he's up running 2nd at the moment in the predominantly black car behind Jeff Judd.
Well, David, of course, Tim McCubbin, second generation race driver. His father, Graeme McCubbin, one of the all-time greats of Australian super modified racing in those days. And there's Tim McCubbin on screen in the number 13 car. And of course, Graeme McCubbin took out the 1972 Australian Championship, basically in the days when it was super modified racing, David.
Wonderful shot of Judd coming off turn number 4. The 700 horsepower cars are screaming around this quarter-mile venue. Judd moving up on the inside of, I think it was Marcus Nelson in car number 23. You actually had the opportunity, Dennis Newland, to go for a ride in a sprint car, and I think it was at Nyora, was it not, in the opening round of this Auto Pro Series?
Yeah, that's correct, David. I must thank Wayne Milburn for giving me the opportunity of taking a run in his twin-seat sprint car. And let me tell you, David, getting out there on the racetrack and just experiencing the absolute pulsating sound, the vibrations, the thumps, the bumps, you name it. It's all a part of sprint car racing. It gives you a whole new insight into what the world of sprint car racing is all about. Absolutely fabulous. I must sincerely thank Wayne Milburn and Paul Walkinshaw at Nyora for organising it for me. And life will never quite be the same again, I can tell you.
I was about to say, now let me ask you honestly, as we watched Jeff Judd on racing to victory in the opening heat, did you or did you not have to make an appointment with your dry cleaner?
Well, actually, well, I'll keep that one to myself. But it was just sensational, absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's a whole new world. It is just great. It's just magic. Sprint cars, these sprint cars, I tell you, are sensational.
So Judd, a couple of corners to negotiate before he wins the opening heat in round 2 of the Auto Pro Series. He takes it comfortably. McCubbin was close enough but couldn't quite go on with it. He did finish runner-up though, and Ian Thomsen in car 32 was 3rd. As we now take you back to the start of the race and look at the replay on how Judd did it. He is really in very good form in this championship, Dennis.
Oh yes, he is indeed. Look at the style there coming off turn 4. As we move now to Maxim Printing, sponsors of heat number 2, David Van Bremen, David Anderson, Frank Ramsdale, Darren Maggs, Ian Lewis, David Swan, Graham Pitcher, Mark Barlee and Grant Anderson, the starters.
Yeah, Van Bremen, a couple of them involved in racing in this championship. Maxim Printing, heat number 2, Auto Pro Series, or Auto Pro Super Series.
And of course, David, Ian Lewis, a man in this event, been around the racing scene for a number of years and still going strong.
What about the man out in front in the Wagga Mobile Cranes entry, David Anderson? He's been around a long time too. We saw contact there involving Ramsdale in car number 21 rather. Meantime, we see David Swayn race by on the outside. Good shot of Geelong's Avalon International Raceway. A reminder, we've got some Well, unbelievable sprint car racing coming your way on C7 over the next few months or so. I've already pointed out you'll see every round of this series, the Autopro Super Sprint Series. You'll see every round of the Titan Garages QSSS Series out of Queensland. And of course all the major shows, including our live exclusive coverage of the World Series Sprint Cars Grand Final on January 20 from Sydney's Parramatta Raceway. Then our live and exclusive coverage of the Goff and Gilmore Cat 50,000. It all is happening as far as the Thunder and Lightning Brigade is concerned. The Kings with Wings, the sprint cars. And David Anderson, Dennis, out of Albury, is making every poster winner here, leading comfortably.
Yes, he's leading comfortably, and in actual fact extending that lead, David, down into turn number 1. David Anderson, as you said, been around the scene for quite a number of years, one of the most travelled sprint car drivers in Australian racing, does the national circuit, does the major events on the national trail, a very competent driver and a very experienced driver who took his first look at speedway racing many years ago, probably more years than he cares to actually really nominate, but there's no doubt he is really one of the most experienced campaigners, and look at him there working the low line beautifully as he runs down onto the back straightaway.
Yes, he went by on the inside of Grant Anderson, who hails from the Australian Capital Territory, in car number 4. Couple of laps remaining in heat number 2, and it's all David Anderson. Now goes by on the outside of Ramsdale in car number 21. Ramsdale running under the DM Plasterers banner. He also driving an Avenger. David Anderson is driving a Foster chassis, which is built in this country. He's one of a few drivers too campaigning this local chassis in this tournament.
That's right, David, as he comes off the final turn now to take the checkered flag, and a good win in the second heat of the Super Sprint Car Series. There's the placings: David Anderson first, Darren Magg second, and Ian Lewis third.
Yes, Ian was third. Anderson was always too good for them here. Got away beautifully on the outside of the front row. One of his great rivals, Maggs, in car number 7. He was the driver that had the contact with Ramsdale. Maggs in the predominantly white car. He was unable to really get out after Anderson because he was caught in some traffic congestion. That was all this man in the blue car needed to race away with victory. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. Now we move to Heat 3 in the Autopro Super Sprint Series. Bastow on pole, Lawless outside front row, Van Bremen, Colin, Bulmer, Shane Stephenson, Charles Hunter, Alan Barlee and Rod Matthews. The driver of car 9 starting out of position number 8. And also involved in this event you'll find Graeme Doherty. He starts at the back in position number 10. So not far away now from the start. In heat number 3 you would think that Van Bremen will be very hard to catch here, starting off the inside of the second row. That's him in car number 6, the I&V Truck Repairs Foster. So there's another driver in the local chassis. Paul Bastow is our pole sitter, driving under the Apex roof trusses banner. And we get them underway now. Can Bastow match it with the man that started on the outside of the front row, Craig Lawless? It would seem not. Lawless is gone as he heads down the back straight and already clears out, leading by about 15 metres.
Yes, David, but watch Mike Van Bremen there. Right at the start, he went right up to the mid-line and got that edge of the cushion there, although the cushion hasn't fully developed yet. It's still early in the night. But Van Bremen choosing to drive up onto the mid-track position at this stage, and now into a second position there, and now closing on the race leader. Keep your eyes on Mike Van Bremen in the number 6 race car.
Lawless doing a good job though in the Jam Kitchens Gambler car out in front. He's certainly not slow, although has made a mistake or something perhaps has gone astray with the car. He washed off the speed dramatically. That enabled the I&V Truck Repairs Foster, being driven by Mike Van Bremen, to move through and take the lead very quickly.
Now, David, you were saying it's a Foster's chassis. Another local product, as you're saying, there's a number of cars around the southern part of Australia running the Foster chassis. A whole variety of sprint car chassis on the Australian market, some of the American designs, and some of the Australian designs too are equal in quality and workmanship, as we're seeing here, demonstrated clearly by Mike Van Bremen.
Isn't he quick? He's just lapping this place at the rate of knots, running mid-track to higher line, having a ball out there, lapping slower cars. And it won't be long before Van Bremen greets victory circle here in heat number 3. I can tell you that Colin Bulmer has moved up to second on the circuit. Paul Bastow in car number 9, he runs third. There's Bastow, left-hand side of screen, as we drift back through the pack to give you a look at some of the other cars and drivers involved in this Auto Pro Series, but it's all Van Bremen.
Well, this is a big drive by Mike Van Bremen, and as I said earlier in the call, one of the people involved with the organisation of as the last lap, Mike Van Bremen now setting off on his final lap around the Avalon Raceway. One of the men involved in the organisation of this series, the SRA Sprint Car Series.
He slowed down there, driving well a little on the conservative side. Last couple of corners, why not? Badly needed the points there. And Van Bremen taking the victory. Colin Bulmer home in second. Paul Bastow was third in the MD Motorsport. Heat number 3 of the Auto Pro Series. Another look at it with Dennis Newland, the editor of Speedway Racing News magazine.
See, David, how Mike Bremen goes up to a mid-track position there, gets the drive right around the outside, and this really did set him up beautifully. And look at that inside pass there, absolutely superb. Mike Bremen with a full head of steam heads down the back straightaway. Just another look in there, working that high line to great effect. Beautiful outside pass, that one. Mike Bremen really put it all together in that heat, David.
Okay, and now we move along to heat number 4. David Swayn on pole, Thomsen outside front row. Then Darren Maggs and Jeremy Warren sharing the second row of the grid. David Anderson, David Brown, Mark Barlee, Jeff Judd and Marcus Nelson. Now we've got a number of drivers here that performed very well in their first heat tonight. Certainly Judd and David Anderson, and Darren Maggs did finish as a runner-up, as did Ian Thomsen, I think, from memory. Or
David, I think the great interest in this one, Jeff Judd at the back of the field, to see how he works the traffic in this one on the tight confines of the Avalon Raceway.
So David Swayn is our pole sitter. We get set to send them on their way, 700 horsepower apiece. And Swayn was the best to begin from the inside. I can see David Anderson moving forward very quickly already. They start to pack up now off turns 3 and 4 for the first time.
Down the main straightaway there, Jeff Judd is quickly into stride also there and making a strong forward move. There he is in the number 11 car, and ahead of him on the racetrack is David Anderson.
Yeah, Maggs has overtaken Ian Thomsen to move up into second. Poor old Thomsen is under siege here. He's got Judd on the inside, David Anderson on the outside. He's the meat in the proverbial sandwich, and he's now capitulated with Anderson going by as well as Maggs. This is a much better sprint car race now in heat number 4.
David, Darren Maggs there, of course, the Maggs family in Victorian sprint car racing, synonymous in fact with Victorian sprint car racing. Jack Maggs over many years has fielded top flight equipment, and of course we remember only too well the great days of the Jack Maggs era, the HM headers cars driven by Garry Rush and Graeme McCubbin, absolutely all conquering for quite a number of seasons there, 1978, 79, 80, 81 seasons. Jack Maggs with Graeme McCubbin and Garry Rush as his drivers. Great
race here. Swayn up front is under siege from Darren Maggs in the HM headers car. And David Anderson running under the Wagga Mobile Cranes entry, or banner, anyway, is back running third. So they're nose to tail the top 3. This is the best heat we've seen in the Auto Pro Series so far. Swayn, he moves up on the inside of the man in 23, Marcus Nelson. Look at Anderson meantime. He switches lines and runs by on the outside, trying to effect an outside pass on Maggs. I think he's going to be successful in doing so as well. He's got plenty of momentum, lots of speed. He'll pick off the race leader here too. So great drive by Anderson. In the space of one lap, he goes from third to race leader and did that majestically in the blue car, number 37. And now he's got half a lap to run. This has been quite a drive.
A big drive, David, as he shoots off turn number 4 down to take the checkered flag. An absolutely superb performance there by David Anderson, taking the win in heat number 4. Darren Maggs officially placed second, coming in, David Swan second, and Darren Maggs coming in third. But capturing the action now of David Anderson, working that outside line absolutely beautifully, right up against the wall there. A beautiful outside pass coming through turn number 4. And picking off not only the race leaders, but lap cars as well.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? This sport, coming around the outside, the good guys coming from the back. That's what the tradition of Speedway oval track racing in this country was built on. Great performance by Anderson, defeating Swayn and Maggs. Here's the grid now. Victory Lane Raceway, heat number 5. Ian Smith, Alan Barlee, Garry Chippendall, Shane Stephenson, Tim McCubbin, Mike Van Bremen, John Vogels, Paul Bastow returns to action in car number 90. Starting out of position number 8, and Brent Hough in 56 starting out of posse number 9. as we dissolve through the pitches very quickly. We're underway in heat number 5.
That's right, David, as the field sorts themselves out, going down to the turn number 1 on that occasion.
It's Barlee in car number 61, the race leader. He's a long, long way in front. 57 is next on the circuit. Ian Smith, that's him on the left-hand side of your screen now. That shot shows you graphically the distance between first and second. That's Barlee, our race leader, and he has said, see you later, fellas, in this event. And Barlee running the Avenger chassis as well. So once again, a good spread of manufacturers involved in this second round of the Autopro Super Sprint Series.
And with sponsorship too from Torque Performance Oil, David. So Barlee really getting it together, and the Avenger chassis, as we've seen from the opening round, and this performance in this particular heat too. A very, very good design in sprint car racing, as Barlee gets it all together in turn number 4 and doing a good job out in front.
Running fairly low on the racetrack at the moment. Really, David Anderson in the previous heat is the first driver that we've really seen utilise the cushion on this racetrack when he passed both Swayn and Mags on the high line. So Barlee now starting to move up track just slightly, but still driving a fairly conservative line, which is he's obviously entitled to do. He's leading here by a country mile in heat number 5. On the other side of this, just one more qualifying heat with heat number 6. Then it will be the scramble, the mad dash, to be contested by the top 6 so far tonight. Then it's the B main and the A main yet to come. So plenty of V8 sprint car racing remaining on our program this week.
Well, Barlee has absolutely just cleared right away from the opposition, has this race shot to pieces as he lines up down in turn number 3 with 1 lap remaining. 1 lap now, Barlee setting off on his final lap.
Chippendall is second, and at this stage of proceedings, Mike van Bremen is running third on the circuit, but Barlee has proven far too good for them. I've got to say, he hasn't looked that comfortable on occasions, but there has been no challenges, and he slows down, taking the victory comfortably. Chippendall was second, Mike van Bremen was third. Van Bremen getting really caught up with some of the back markers there and unable to make any real impression on our race leader on that occasion. Now the trailer ads event, heat number 6, grid positions for you. This is the final qualifying heat on the program in round 2 of this championship. Rod Matthews pitch up, then it's Hunter, Lewis, Bulmer, Ramsdale, Lawless, Van Bremen. It's a different one though, it's David this time. And Graeme Doherty and Grant Anderson are the 2 starting at the back in heat number 6.
It looks like Rod Matthews is the early leader, David. Rod Matthews clearing away to a good start in this one. Rod Matthews driving the Ballarat Pallet Co Stealth chassis car and leading well in the early stages.
Yeah, pretty good performer Matthews, can mix it with them. Look at this for a great battle. In 21 it's Ramsdale, predominantly blue car. He's been a little up and down in this championship so far, to be honest. This looked really quick on occasions and really ordinary on other occasions. Perhaps tonight is the night he's getting it all together.
And the man sponsoring this heat, the Trailer Ads company, of course, is Paul Walkinshaw, the marketing man from Nyora Raceway, as we watch the driver of car number 9, Rod Matthews, on screen there.
Yes, the Ballarat Pallet Company Stealthy. There's been a driver lose a wheel. Ian Vale, I can see the race director from this tournament. There he is, Ian in the white shirt, putting it all together in terms of this series, stopping the wheel on that occasion. 84, meantime, goes out of the race. Picture, obviously minus a wheel. So the predominantly orange car being driven by Matthews will lead them away here. He's going to find a fairly tough character behind him, though. Ian Lewis in car number 18 is going to prove fairly hard to beat inside the race distance. So it's Matthews, followed by Lewis. Ramsdale back running third in car number 21.
Well, David, Ian Lewis is one of the most experienced campaigners on the Australian scene for many, many seasons. Not only running sprint cars, but during his career has driven speed cars as well, and driven speed cars successfully not only in Australia, but in America as well. A very, very experienced campaigner, Ian Lewis. And he's now trying to take the race here right up to Rod Matthews. A good scrap, this one, David.
Great scrap. Lewis has been in the pits watching David Anderson, who raced by on the outside to claim an earlier heat in spectacular fashion. He'll know the racetrack is providing that kind of opportunity, so It's up to him if he's good enough to utilise it here. Because I'll tell you one thing, Matthews is not going to give him an inch on the inside in car number 9. Here's your race leader now out of turn number 4. Lewis in car number 18 is second. And Ramsdale has definitely got his car better sorted out. There he is now. That's the top 3 drivers you're looking at. Not a lot between them. Now we go up close. A nice tight shot of our race leader. Will he be hampered by slower traffic inside the last racing lap? Lewis needs to do it, and do it right about now in the white car number 18. The slow car hindered our race leader. It helped the man in second, who has become the race leader. With 1 corner to run, Ian Lewis takes a miraculous victory. In heat number 6, Matthews was second. Ramsdale was third. We'll talk about leaving a run till the last moment, Dennis.
Oh, he did indeed, but he was aided and abetted there by some slower cars. Look at this, down on the low line, Matthews, and Lewis shoots clear right up around the top there on the high line. A beautiful pass. A lot of experience with this man coming off turn 4 to go down and take a great victory.
Hi, I'm Jeff Judd, and you're watching the Autopro Super Sprint Series on Checkered Flag.
Great to have you with us this week on Checkered Flag. Welcome back to Geelong's Avalon International Raceway, round 2 of the Autopro Series, Super Sprint Series. It's Lewis Anderson, Judd, Barlee, Mike Van Bremen and Darren Maggs on the track, preparing to contest the Doug Wright Scramble. Away we go, Lewis on the inside. We saw him snatch a brilliant victory in heat number 6. Look at Anderson and Judd, all the fast men involved here, Dennis Newland.
This will be a great race, David. Yes, the top men here at Avalon tonight really going hard at it, but Ian Lewis doing a superb job out in front, but he's being kept honest by David Anderson, having a look on the low line down the back straight.
We've got all the heat winners out in action here. I'll tell you what, Lewis's car improving with every lap. The smoke pouring off the right rear tyre. Here comes Ando, though. In car number 37, the Wagga Mobile Cranes Foster chassis machine is really running hot on the outside.
Well, David Anderson has, he's really set his car up for working. We've got problems, and it's looks like Van Bremen bringing on the yellow lights.
Yeah, the INV truck repairs Foster car having a major problem. So, hello. Anderson has also struck trouble as we go on this race restart. No David Anderson. And that enables all drivers to move up 1 more spot, including Judd in the Autopro Avenger. He's up running second behind Ian Lewis.
Well, that's bad luck, David, for David Anderson. He was really showing some great form in this race prior to that incident. But Ian Lewis skipping clear and doing a good job. But being kept honest, though, Jeff Judd now closing that gap and looking for a run down onto the inside as they go down to turn number 3. And a beautiful, superb inside pass by Jeff Judd, taking over the race lead with 1 lap remaining.
A great move by Judd. The Autopro Avenger has half a lap to run before he wins the Doug Wright Scramble here. Round 2 Autopro, a Super Sprint Series, and out of turn 4 he takes it. And we've got a double checkered flag here at Avalon Raceway. Why not? It was Judd, Lewis and Darren Maggs. B Main is next on the program, the D&F Racing Products B Main. Let's check it out for you now. Ramsdale in 21 will start on pole. Jeremy Warren, car 52 outside front row. Then Stephenson and Anderson, Brown and Hough, Smith and Hunter, Lawless and Nelson, Mark Barlee, Graeme Doherty and Graeme Pitcher in car number 84, starting on row 7 of the grid. So we'll now dissolve through the pictures for you in this B main. Very important. Only the top few drivers from this race will have the opportunity of transferring through to the main event tonight, and we are underway.
Certainly the B main, always one of those kind of races, David, where it's a real battle, because, as you say, only several spots available as a progression through into the A main as the field sorts themselves out down into turn number 4 once again. And there's problems on the racetrack. One driver there going via the infield was car number 47. That's David Brown. He's back onto the racetrack as the field now stringing itself out around the circuit, but doing a good job out in front at this early stage, trying to pick up the driver there as he comes through turn number 3, or sorry, turn 2 down onto the back straightaway here at Avalon Raceway.
And that's Jeremy Warren in car number 52. should point out that it's the top 4 drivers in this B main that have the opportunity of occupying the back of the grid in the all-important A main, which is next to come on today's program. So Warren, the West Australian, in car number 52, doing a particularly good job out in front. He's been fairly quiet in the series so far, but perhaps it's starting to come together for him now. Look at him. He's certainly not scared, is he?
Well, he's really, as one goes by the edge of the racetrack there, but Warren well clear at this stage, one heading off onto the infield.
31, that man on the infield there is Craig Lawless. Prior to that, we also saw David Brown in 47 going on an unexpected infield excursion.
David, I think one thing too with the Autopro SRA series, the organisers really were planning on, as you say, not only getting it onto national television, but they set about getting corporate backing and corporate sponsors, not only as naming rights supporters and sponsors and backers, but heat races also sponsored by various business houses. And it's great to see the amount of business houses that have got behind this series. I think that's one of the telling factors. Of course, the series has been around for a number of seasons. I think something like this is the 6th season that the SRA have put together a series within their state, but it's
never been as professional as it is now. There's no doubt about that. So the top 4 drivers to transfer from this event into the A main. Warren, a little indecisive here as he attempts to put a lap on one of the slower drivers. Looked to go by on the outside, thought about the inside as well. That's Mark Barlee in the predominantly yellow car with the silver wing, car number 82 in front of our race lead-up. And it looks to me as though Warren is just happy to cruise around at the moment. He's not prepared to take any unnecessary risks, and he shouldn't either.
No, he's got this race safely in his keeping, David, and not too many more laps remaining in this one, and he's well clear of the opposition. I guess his main danger is getting through some of these lap cars that tend to move all over the racetrack, but he's doing it nicely, threading his way through the field of lap cars, and less than 1 lap now remaining.
Yeah, it's not a bad race, in fact. The drivers in 2nd and 3rd are not too far away. There's our leader, Warren. Then there's a slower car. I think it's Ian Smith behind him. And our 2nd place driver, Frank Ramsdale, is right behind him. So Ramsdale needed a little bit of luck. It was not forthcoming, though, in the last racing lap. Checkered flag on display. It was Warren, Ramsdale and Stephenson. Officially 4th across the line was Grant Anderson, the driver from the ACT in car 4. He also qualifies for the main event. The Beaumont Pies and Cakes A main, and it's Jeff Judd and Ian Lewis sharing the front row of the grid. Then Alan Barlee and Darren Maggs, Mike Van Bremen and David Anderson, David Swayn and Cole Bulmer, Tim McCubbin and Garry Chippendall, Rod Matthews, Ian Thomsen, Jeremy Warren, Frank Ramsdale, Shane Stephenson and Grant Anderson. Rounding out this 16-car field set to do battle in the Beaumont Pies and Cakes A main in this, the Autopro Super Sprint Series Round 2 at the Avalon International Raceway.
Of course, David, great interest here with Jeff Judd, winner at Nyora, the race winner there and top man on the points table at the moment, but he's got a pretty experienced campaigner on the outside of Ian Lewis. This should be an absolute cracker of a race, this one.
Atmosphere at Avalon International Raceway is really very, very special at the moment. The first time we've seen the Autopro Series here in the season of 2000-2001. By the way, it won't be the last. It comes back here at this juncture. I'll let you know also that on next week's program here on Checkered Flag, you'll see round 3 of this tournament. Then the following week we get back into our coverage of the Titan QSSS Series. A lot of terrific shows coming your way between now and Christmas, I can assure you. Set for a start now, the A main in round 2 of the Autopro Series. Judd involved in a great battle with Ian Lewis early in this race. All drivers, Dennis Newland, make it through turns 1 and 2 safely the first time. Lewis the leader, Judd in 2nd.
That's right, Ian Lewis. He really got away to a great start there, David. Worked that high line effectively down through turns 1 and 2, and got a good break. Jeff Judd. Well, there you go. Bad luck indeed. Jeff Judd upsetting the momentum of the race, out of the event, obviously.
I'd say upsetting himself more so than the momentum of the race. if we have a look at that again, it all started with Lewis up front. He had half a lose. He drifted through turns 3 and 4. I think you'll find Judd reacted accordingly. He slammed on the anchors and got it all wrong. And I don't know what happened. It was a fairly gentle looking rollover thereafter. But he is okay, by the way. And we've had confirmation from the scene that the driver, Jeff Judd, is okay. A remarkable incident. Here's another look. Watch the man up front, Lewis. He has a bit of an interesting moment himself. The front wheels up in the air. Well, that's just how volatile these cars are. But, mate, it hasn't been that badly damaged. It's really superficial. It's the left rear tyre. It's the top wing and the front wing that appears to have worn the brunt of that incident.
Well, of course, David, with these race cars, they're basically bolt-off components. It's like a high-tech Meccano set, these sprint cars of today, with the technology that they do employ.
He's got it fixed, Judd, but that means he's got to go to the rear of the field. Was one of the reasons, or in fact was the major reason for the stoppage as we get them underway again in this Beaumont Pies and Cakes sponsored event in round 2 of the Autopro Super Sprint Series. Up front this time in car number 6, it's Van Bremen, I&B Truck Repairs entry. The Foster chassis. The Fosters have performed beautifully here tonight in round 2 of this series, and doesn't he look quick? The smoke pouring off the right rear.
He's going well, David, too, and I might add too, the racetrack is holding up beautifully too. It's a little slick down on the pole line, but generally it does offer good passing up high, as well as David Anderson showed earlier in the night. But now Van Bremen opening up a good lead. He would have looked at the way the track conditions were prevailing through the B main, set his car up obviously to run down low, probably changed a slightly higher compound as far as the tyre compounds are concerned, changed the gear ratios, worked the car just a little bit for the main event, changed a few setups on it, and doing a good job out in front.
Later next week, it's round 3 from Borderline Speedway, Mount Gambier in South Australia. That is a wonderful raceway, and I've got no doubt the action will be tremendous. The Speedway fiberglass entry, I&B Truck Repair sponsored race car being driven by Van Bremen on the centre of your screen, doing a wonderful job here. Round 2 of the Autopro Series. Now under siege from Mags in the HM Headers car, number 7.
And here comes Mags down onto that low line once again. As you were just saying, David, with the series, of course, they move into New South Wales, the Autopro Super Sprint Series, taking in the Wagga International Speedway later in the tournament. So the SRA covering 3 states with their series during the 2000-2001 summer racing season.
Great to see is Anderson in car 37. I'll tell you what, Dennis Newland, they're starting to pack up here. You could almost throw a blanket over the leading 2 or 3 drivers. It's Van Bremen, followed by Mags in car number 7, and then David Anderson running 3rd, and a heap of other challengers moving up. And it all has come about due to the slower traffic, starting to pack them up. Oh, big incident on the main straight. It was Mags in car number 7, who was running 2nd at the time, and that will be his race run. There's been big contact. I can only assume he and David Anderson have come together, because they were the 2 drivers running side by side at the time, and look at the damage on that concrete wall.
Well, Darren Mags certainly very upset there. You could see behind the wheel gesturing there, not very impressed at all. And of course, talking of Mags, HM Headers have been with that operation, Jack Mags, for a number of years. Bad luck for Darren Mags.
Indeed, away we go again.
And Van Bremen down the back straightaway once again, keeping that...
And he parks it on turn 4. What's going on here? We're losing a number of our quick runners up front. I'll tell you what, this is going to be one of those races where the bad luck encountered by the more fancied runners is going to see, well, some of the lesser drivers perhaps capitalise and really get among the major points here tonight and prize money.
Well, David, Mike Van Bremen would really be cursing himself there, because now he's at the back of the field and has to do it all over again. There he is, just at the tail end of the field there, just caught a shot of him.
Now all of that means that David Swayn in the Hungry Hound JSR has taken the race lead. There's another sprint car manufacturer on display here tonight, the JSR.
Yes, out of John Sydney Racing. John Sydney, of course, a man whose sprint car experience goes without comment. One of the most talented race car engineers, chassis men in Australia, going right back to many, many years when he started out building his own race cars under the Oval Track Racing banner. And over the years, his chassis componentry has used by all of the big names in Australian sprint car racing.
Most notably, Max Dumsney. And of course, the two also combining to win several major events in Australian NASCAR competition at the Bob James Calder Park Thunderdome in Melbourne. There's Swayn, though. Ken Blast also supporting his efforts in this Auto Pro Series. It's car number 20. Now, David Swayn started from position 7 on the grid. If we look at the drivers that started ahead of him, Judd, Lewis, Barlee, Maggs, Van Bremen and Anderson, the majority have taken themselves out.
Yeah, David, it has been something of a demolition derby, really.
So Swayn in front. I think it's Bulmer in second. Indeed it is. Bulmer in car number 12, the Gambler. And not far remaining now in this second round of the Auto Pro Super Sprint Series.
And check the rear axle there of the race leader too, David. It's glowing red hot there. The section of the car there as we watch him down into the disc there, coming off turn number 4. And he's obviously, let's see if the car can last the distance.
Bulmer in car 12 is second. I can see Rod Matthews in machine number 9, the Ballarat Pallet Company Stealth, up running third. We might get a shot of him for you in just a moment. There's the leader, though. The Hungry Hound, JSR of David Swayn in front. He leads by about 10 metres to his nearest rival, Colin Bulmer. Matthews in third.
Well, David, not too many more laps remaining, but this is a race car that somewhat ailing in the latter stages of this event. Obviously problems there with the car, as you can see only 2 graphically on screen, coming off turn number 4 once again. But still leading and still doing a good job out in front.
Enormous horsepower from these machines. Allegedly the second highest power to weight ratio in world motorsport, behind only Formula One cars. The sprinters, oh, major crash on the back straight here at Avalon International Raceway. Unfortunately, our cameras not able to pick it up for you, but clearly we can see the aftermath.
Well, that was a spectacular crash, David. Just trying to pick up the driver involved in that accident as the crash crew quickly in attendance there. Well, there's the race.
It's Shane Stephenson, 75. And look at the front of that car. Probably not as bad as it looks, but I shouldn't say that. It does look bad enough, doesn't it? Away we go, race restart. Swayn, Bulmer, Matthews. That's the way they're running on the racetrack. Jeremy Warren, the West Aussie driver, is up running 4th. Different set of players tonight to what we had in the opening round at Nyora Raceway.
It's been a good drive, David, by Jeremy Warren too, to hold down 4th spot there, and he's done a good job.
I think it's Chippendall back running 5th at the moment. Here's Matthews, meantime, deciding to launch a challenge on our man in 2nd spot currently, Bulmer, Swayn, Bulmer, Matthews, Warren. There's Matthews and Warren getting side by side for a moment. 2 laps remaining in round 2 of the Auto Pro Super Sprint Series from Avalon International Raceway. Swayn is not entirely comfortable, is he? The car's having a bit of a push from time to time. He's out in front, got plenty of poke in a front line, but it's through the bends. It doesn't appear to be running all that sweetly.
Okay, David, 1 lap remaining for David Swayn. He stayed clear of all the dramas, setting himself half a lap away from the checkered flag.
So the Hungry Hound JSR, driven by David Swayn, is going to win round 2 of the Auto Pro Super Sprint Series from Geelong here tonight, the Avalon International Raceway. No doubt about that. Colin Bulmer will be officially placed 2nd, and Rod Matthews ultimately placed 3rd. That certainly is going to make the point score scenario a fairly interesting one, with Swayn, Bulmer and Matthews 1st, 2nd and 3rd respectively. And there's the jubilation of the victor here tonight in round 2 of the Auto Pro sponsored series. Well, thank you for being with us this week on Checkered Flag. We'll do it all over again in the same time slot next week. Make sure you join us then.